Commander Hayek stared at the screen in front of him. The coffee in his cup had gone cold hours ago, but he did not notice. Numbers and lights filled the display, showing ships moving through space far from Earth. Too many ships. Way too many ships. "Sir, we're getting more readings," said the young officer next to him. Her name was Minji, and she worked with alien languages and signals. "The fleet is bigger than we thought." Hayek nodded slowly. He had been watching these ships for 3 days now. They had appeared at the edge of the solar system like a dark cloud. At first, Earth scientists thought it might be a mistake. Maybe their instruments were broken, but the ships kept coming and more kept appearing. The space station called New Sol floated in orbit around Earth. It was one of many defense stations that humans had built over the years. Most people on Earth did not know about these stations. The government kept them secret. They were supposed to be humanity's first line of defense if aliens ever came to Earth. Now the aliens were here. "How many ships do we count now?" Hyuk asked. "Over 12,000, sir," Minji replied. She pushed her glasses up her nose. "And they're still coming through whatever portal they're using." 12,000 ships. Hyuk felt his stomach drop. Earth had maybe 300 ships that could fight in space. Most of those were small patrol boats or cargo ships with weapons added later. The aliens had brought a real war fleet. "Any word from Captain Daesung's squadron?" Hyuk asked. "They're still on patrol near Mars," said another officer. "Captain Daesung reports that the alien ships aren't moving toward the inner planets yet. They seem to be waiting for something." Hayek thought about this. Why would such a large fleet just sit there? If he wanted to attack Earth, he would move fast before the humans could prepare. But these aliens were taking their time. On the main screen, the alien fleet looked like a small galaxy of lights. Each light was a ship filled with alien soldiers and weapons that humans had never seen before. Some of the ships were huge, bigger than entire cities on Earth. Others were smaller but moved in perfect patterns around the large ones. "Sir, we're getting a signal," Minji said suddenly. She put her hand to her earpiece. "It's coming from the alien fleet. They want to talk." "Put it on the main screen," Hayek ordered. The screen flickered, then showed the face of something that was not human. The alien had gray skin and 4 eyes arranged in a square pattern on its face. When it spoke, sharp teeth showed in its mouth. "Humans of the 3rd planet," the alien said. Its voice was deep and sounded like it was laughing at them. "I am Fleet Admiral Vextar of the Vorthak Empire. We have come to claim your world." Hyuk felt everyone on the bridge looking at him. He was not the highest-ranking officer in Earth's defense force, but he was the one here now. He stood up straight and looked at the alien on the screen. "This is Commander Hyuk of Earth Defense. What do you want with our planet?" he asked. The alien's 4 eyes seemed to find this question funny. "Your planet has resources we need. Your species will make good workers for our empire. We offer you a choice. Surrender now and some of your people will live. Fight us and we will take everything anyway." "And if we choose to fight?" Hyuk asked. "Then you will learn why 12 species have joined our fleet. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships. Your small military cannot stand against the combined might of the Vorthak coalition." The alien leaned forward on the screen. "We are generous. We give you 72 of your hours to decide. When your sun rises on the 4th day, we will have your answer. Choose wisely, humans." The screen went black. Nobody on the bridge spoke for a long moment. Finally, Minji broke the silence. "Sir, I've been studying their formation patterns," she said quietly. "There's something strange about how they're organized." "What do you mean?" Hayek asked. "Look at this." Minji brought up a tactical display. "See how their ships are arranged? It's very neat and orderly. Every ship has its exact place. It looks like they've done this many times before." Hyuk studied the display. She was right. The alien fleet was organized like a textbook example of military formation. Everything was precise and perfect. "They're following rules," he said slowly. "Exactly," Minji nodded. "Very strict rules. Their big ships are in the center, protected by rings of smaller ships. Their supply ships are in the back. Their scout ships are spread out in a perfect grid pattern." "That's how you conquer primitive worlds," said Captain Daesung's voice over the radio. His patrol squadron had been listening to the conversation. "You overwhelm them with superior numbers and organization." Hyuk smiled for the first time in days. It was not a happy smile. "Minji, send a message to Earth Command," he said. "Tell them the aliens think we're primitive. Tell them the aliens are very organized and very confident." "Yes, sir," Should I also tell them about the 72-hour deadline? Tell them that too, but also tell them something else. Hayuk looked at the tactical display again. Tell them the aliens are fighting the last war, not this one. As Minji sent the message, Hyuk watched the alien fleet on the screen. 12,000 ships, all perfectly organized and following their rules. The aliens thought they knew exactly how this battle would go. They thought they were fighting primitive humans who would panic and surrender or die quickly in battle. They had no idea what humans were really like when cornered. In 72 hours, Hayuk thought, these aliens are going to learn something new about luck. Admiral Jiwon stood in the war room deep inside Earth's military headquarters. Maps and screens covered every wall, showing the positions of ships all across the solar system. Officers hurried back and forth, carrying reports and giving orders. Everyone looked worried, but Jiwon smiled calmly. How much time do we have left? She asked. 18 hours until the alien deadline, answered an officer. The fleet hasn't moved from their position, but our scouts report they're preparing for battle. Good, Jiwon said. Let them prepare. Minho, are your surprises ready? Engineer Minho looked up from his computer terminal. His hair was messy from working without sleep for 3 days. Project Lucky Strike is online, Admiral. All 7,000 units are active and waiting. 7,000? Asked Commander Hayek's voice over the radio from the New Seoul station. I thought we only had a few hundred defense satellites. Jiwon's smile grew wider. We do only have a few hundred satellites, Commander. Minho, explain to him what you've been doing for the past 5 years. Minho rubbed his tired eyes. Well, sir, remember all those asteroid mining operations? And the space junk cleanup missions? And the scientific research stations that kept getting moved around? Yes, Hayek replied over the radio. None of those were what they seemed to be, Minho continued. Every piece of space junk we collected got turned into a weapon. Every mining operation left behind automated defense systems. Every research station was actually a hidden weapons platform. You've been militarizing the entire solar system, Hayek said, understanding dawning in his voice. For 5 years, Jiwon confirmed. Ever since our deep space telescopes detected the first signs of alien activity in nearby star systems. We knew they would come eventually. On the main screen, the alien fleet still hung in space like a threatening storm cloud, but now other lights were appearing on the display. Tiny dots of light scattered throughout the solar system. Most were near asteroids or floating in what looked like empty space. The aliens think they're facing a primitive species with 300 ships, Admiral Jiwon said. They have no idea they're actually facing 7,000 hidden weapons platforms plus our regular fleet. Pilot Yuna's voice crackled over the radio from her fighter squadron. Admiral, my pilots are ready. We've been practicing the new flight patterns for months. Good, Jiwon replied. Remember, the aliens' computers will try to predict where you're going to fly. Don't let them. Be random, be chaotic. Make them think their targeting systems are broken. Understood, Admiral. Chaos is our specialty. Jiwon looked at the countdown timer on the wall. 17 hours and 30 minutes until the alien deadline. All units, this is Admiral Jiwon, she announced over the main communication system. In a few hours, we're going to send a message to our alien visitors. But first, let me tell you what we've learned about them. She pressed a button and the main screen showed detailed scans of the alien fleet. The Vorthak Coalition follows very strict military rules. Their ships move in precise formations. Their weapons fire in calculated patterns. Their strategy is based on overwhelming primitive enemies with superior technology and numbers. The screen zoomed in on individual alien ships. But they have weaknesses. They expect their enemies to fight like they do, organized and predictable. Their ships are designed to fight other ships that follow the same rules they do. What kind of rules? Asked Captain Daesung from his patrol ship. Formation flying. Predictable attack patterns. Logical target selection, Jiwon explained. Their computers are programmed to fight military battles, not what? Hyuk asked. Not bar fights, Jiwon said with a grin. Minho, activate the first wave. Minho's fingers danced across his control panel. Throughout the solar system, thousands of hidden weapons platforms came online. They had been disguised as asteroids, space junk, and broken satellites for years. Now they revealed their true nature. Admiral, the aliens are detecting the new signatures, reported an officer. They're scanning the platforms. Let them scan, Jiwon said. Yuna, take your squadron out. Give them something to look at. On our way, Admiral. On the screen, Small human fighters began launching from hidden bays inside asteroids and floating debris. They moved in patterns that made no sense to military tactics. Some flew in loops, others zigzagged randomly through space. A few even flew backwards while shooting. The alien fleet began to stir. Ships that had been motionless for days started moving into battle formations. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet," said the communications officer. "Put it through." Fleet Admiral Vexitar's face appeared on the screen again. His 4 eyes looked angry now instead of amused. "Humans," he said, his voice much less friendly than before. "You have more ships than our intelligence indicated. This does not change anything. Surrender now or face destruction." Admiral G1 stepped in front of the camera. "Admiral Vextar, this is Admiral G1 of the United Earth Defense Force. I have a counter-proposal for you." "Speak," the alien growled. "You have 72 hours to leave our solar system," G1 said calmly. "Take your fleet and go home. If you're still here when the time is up, we'll show you what human luck really looks like." Vexitar's 4 eyes widened. "You dare threaten us? With your tiny ships and primitive weapons?" "I'm not threatening you," G1 replied. "I'm giving you fair warning. We know you've conquered 12 other species, but you've never fought humans before. We don't fight like other species. How do you fight?" Vextar demanded. "Dirty," G1 said simply and cut the transmission. The war room was quiet for a moment. Then Captain Daesung's voice came over the radio. "Admiral, the aliens are moving. Looks like they're forming attack formations." "Expect it," G1 said. "All units prepare for battle. Remember, we're not trying to win a fair fight. We're trying to make them think they're fighting a bunch of crazy people who don't know the rules." "That shouldn't be too hard," Yuna's voice said from her fighter. "Half of us really are crazy," G1 laughed. "Exactly. Mino, are the kinetic lottery mines ready?" "All set, Admiral. The moment they enter the inner system, they'll start hitting random mines. The aliens will think they're the unluckiest fleet in the galaxy." "Perfect. Hyuk, how are your sensor readings?" "The alien fleet is splitting into 3 groups," Hyuk reported from New Sol Station. "Looks like they're planning to attack from multiple directions, just like their textbooks probably tell them to do," Ji-Wan said. "Well, they're about to learn that human textbooks are very different from alien textbooks." She looked around the war room at all the officers and technicians preparing for battle. "Remember, everyone," she announced, "we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting to teach the galaxy a lesson. The lesson is this: if you want to fight humans, you better bring more than superior numbers and technology." "What else do you need?" asked an officer. Admiral Ji-Wan smiled as she watched the alien fleet begin its attack approach. "Luck," she said. "Lots and lots of luck." Fleet Admiral Vextar stared at his tactical display in disbelief. His perfect battle plan was falling apart, and he did not understand why. "Report," he barked at his officers. "Sir, the 3rd battle group has lost contact with 17 ship," said his aide. "They seem to be hitting invisible mines that our sensors cannot detect." "Invisible mines are impossible," Vextar snapped. "Check the sensors again." "We have checked them 12 times, sir. The mines appear to be made of ordinary space debris, but they explode when our ships get close." On Earth, Engineer Minho watched his kinetic lottery system work perfectly. The mines were not really mines at all. They were just pieces of metal and rock floating in space. But when alien ships came near them, hidden magnetic launchers would fire the debris at incredible speed. To the aliens, it looked like space itself was fighting them. "How many hits so far?" asked Admiral Ji-Wan. 43 alien ships damaged, 7 destroyed, Minho reported happily. "They're starting to slow down because they're afraid of hitting more mines." "Excellent. Nari, how is your electronic warfare going?" Specialist Nari looked up from her computer screens. Lines of alien code scrolled across the displays as she worked. "I'm inside their communication system, Admiral. Their ships are starting to receive mixed orders." "What kind of mixed orders?" Ji-Wan asked. "Half their fleet thinks they should attack Earth directly. The other half thinks they should secure the outer planets first. Some ships are getting orders to retreat while others are told to advance," Ji-Wan smiled. "Beautiful. Keep it up." In space, the alien fleet was becoming more confused by the minute. Ships that were supposed to work together were flying in different directions. Formation leaders could not contact their squadrons. Weapon systems were locking onto the wrong targets. Commander Hyuk watched from the New Sol Station as the alien fleet's perfect formation began to break apart. "Sir, Their second battle group is moving toward Mars, reported an officer. But their first battle group is heading straight for Earth. And the third battle group? Hyuk asked. They seem to be lost, sir. They're flying in circles near Jupiter. Hyuk nodded. Exactly what we predicted. Yuna, are your fighters ready? Pilot Yuna's voice came over the radio from somewhere near the asteroid belt. We're in position, Commander. The aliens have no idea we're here. Yuna led a squadron of 30 human fighters, but these were not ordinary military fighters. They had been built to look like broken ships, old cargo vessels, and space junk. The alien sensors could barely detect them, and when they did, the ships looked too weak and slow to be dangerous. The aliens were wrong about that too. Yuna, the alien second battle group is entering your area, Hyuk said. Time to give them a surprise. Copy that, Commander. Beginning attack run. What happened next would have been impossible to believe if it had not been recorded by both human and alien sensors. 30 pieces of space junk suddenly came alive. They moved in ways that made no sense to military tactics. Some flew straight up while shooting down. Others spun in circles while firing in all directions. One fighter flew backwards through the alien formation while its pilot fired missiles behind him. The alien ships tried to target these crazy human fighters, but their computers could not predict where the humans would fly next. Every time an alien ship locked onto a target, the human fighter would do something completely random and disappear from the targeting system. This is impossible, shouted the alien commander of the second battle group. Their pilots are flying like maniacs. He was right. The human pilots were flying like maniacs, but they were very skilled maniacs who had practiced these insane flight patterns for months. In 15 minutes, Yuna's squadron had destroyed or damaged over 60 alien ships. The aliens had not managed to hit a single human fighter. Yuna, that was amazing, Hyuk said over the radio. Return to base. Already heading home, Commander. Those aliens looked really confused. Back on the alien flagship, Fleet Admiral Vextar was receiving reports from all three of his battle groups. None of the reports were good. Sir, the humans appear to be using some kind of probability weapon, said his science officer. Our ships keep having impossible amounts of bad luck. Bad luck is not a weapon, Vextar said angrily. Then how do you explain this, sir? The science officer showed him the battle reports. In the past 2 hours, we have lost 93 ships to equipment failures, navigation errors, friendly fire incidents, and random space debris. The probability of this many accidents happening by chance is less than 1 in a billion. Vextar studied the reports. It was true that his fleet was having an unusual amount of bad luck. Weapon systems were failing at the worst possible moments. Ships were getting lost when their navigation systems glitched. Some ships had even collided with each other when their autopilot suddenly stopped working. On Earth, Specialist Nari smiled as she sent another batch of false commands to the alien fleet. She had been inside their computer systems for hours, making tiny changes that would cause maximum confusion. Admiral, the aliens are trying to regroup, she reported to Jiwon. But every time they get organized, I send their ships false navigation data. How much longer can you keep this up? Jiwon asked. As long as they keep using the same communication protocols, Nari replied. They're very organized, which makes them predictable. I can stay ahead of their security systems easily. General Tae-hyun entered the war room carrying a tablet full of reports. Admiral, our ground forces are ready if any aliens make it to Earth. How ready? Jiwon asked. Every major city has hidden defense systems. Every military base has been disguised to look like civilian buildings. And every civilian building might actually be a military base. Jiwon nodded. Good. But I don't think many aliens will make it to Earth. They're too busy dealing with their bad luck problem. On his flagship, Fleet Admiral Vexitar was beginning to suspect that human luck might not be natural. Science officer, run a probability analysis on human tactics, he ordered. Sir, I already have. The humans appear to be using completely random strategies. There is no pattern to their attacks, no logic to their ship movements, and no organization to their defense. Then how are they winning? Vextar demanded. The science officer looked confused. I do not know, sir. By all military theory, random tactics should be easy to defeat, but somehow the humans' random actions are perfectly suited to counter our organized strategies. Vextar stared at the tactical display. His 3 battle groups were scattered across the solar system. His communication systems were unreliable. His ships were afraid to move too fast because of the invisible mines, and human fighters kept appearing from nowhere to attack his forces before disappearing again. This was not how conquering primitive species was supposed to work. "Sir," said his aide, "perhaps we should consider the human admiral's offer. We still have time to leave their solar system." Vextar's 4 eyes blazed with anger. "Retreat? From primitives? Never." But as he watched another group of his ships get lost in the asteroid belt, he began to wonder if these humans were really as primitive as his intelligence reports had claimed. Maybe it was time to learn more about human luck. Captain Daesung floated in zero gravity inside the alien command ship's main corridor. His boarding team had been fighting through the ship for 2 hours, but something felt wrong. The aliens were not fighting as hard as they should be. "Team 2 report," he whispered into his radio. "We've reached the engine room, Captain," came the reply. "But sir, the aliens seem confused. Half of them are trying to fight us, and the other half are trying to repair their computers." "Same here," said Team 3's leader. "The aliens keep getting orders to abandon ship, then orders to fight to the death, then orders to surrender. They don't know what to do." Daesung smiled inside his helmet. Specialist Nari's computer virus was working even better than they had hoped. "All teams, continue to the bridge," he ordered. "But be careful. Confused enemies are sometimes more dangerous than organized ones." Dr. Minji sat in her laboratory on New Seoul Station, surrounded by alien communication equipment that Daesung's team had captured from smaller alien ships. For the past day, she had been listening to alien transmissions and trying to understand how their military worked. "Commander Hyuk," she called over the intercom. "I think I've found something important." Hyuk appeared in her lab a few minutes later. "What have you discovered?" "Listen to this," Minji said, playing back a recorded alien transmission. Strange sounds filled the lab. Clicks, whistles, and electronic beeps. "I can't understand a word of that," Hyuk said. "That's the problem," Minji explained. "Neither can some of the aliens. Watch this." She played another recording, this one from a different alien ship. The sounds were similar but slightly different. "This is from a ship crewed by the Korthak species," Minji explained. "And this first one was from a Vorthak ship. They're supposed to be allies, but they're using different communication codes. So they can't talk to each other properly?" Hyuk asked. "Worse than that," Minji said excitedly. "I've been analyzing their transmissions for hours. The Vorthak Empire forced all these alien species to join their coalition, but they never bothered to create a unified communication system. Each species uses its own codes and protocols." Hyuk's eyes widened. "So when Nari hacks their communications, she's not just confusing one species," Minji finished. "She's turning their communication problems into chaos. The different alien species can barely understand each other even when their systems are working perfectly." This was huge. Hyuk immediately contacted Admiral Ji-won. "Admiral, Dr. Minji has discovered a critical weakness in the alien coalition," he reported. "Tell me." Ji-won's voice came back over the radio. After Hyuk explained Minji's discovery, there was a long pause. Then Admiral Ji-won's voice came back and she sounded very pleased. "Excellent work. This explains why our electronic warfare has been so effective. Nari, are you listening?" "Yes, Admiral," came Nari's voice from her workstation. "I want you to focus on making the different alien species even more confused about each other. Make them think the other species are betraying them." "Understood, Admiral. This is going to be fun." Meanwhile, Captain Daesung's boarding team had finally reached the bridge of the alien command ship. What they found there was not what they expected. The bridge was full of aliens from 3 different species, and they were all arguing with each other. Some had gray skin like Fleet Admiral Vextar. Others were tall and thin with blue skin. The third group was short and covered in fur. "Captain," whispered one of his soldiers, "they're too busy fighting each other to notice us." Daesung watched the aliens argue. Even though he could not understand their language, it was clear that they were angry with each other. The gray-skinned aliens seemed to be giving orders, while the blue ones were refusing to obey. The furry ones looked like they wanted to leave. "Set up recording equipment," Daesung ordered quietly. "Dr. Minji will want to study this." While his team worked, Daesung listened to the alien argument. Gradually, he began to understand what was happening. The different species in the coalition did not trust each other. The Vorthak were the leaders, but the others were starting to question their commands. "Team leaders, prepare to capture the bridge," Daesung said into his radio. "But try to take some of the aliens alive. We need prisoners who can answer questions." The battle for the bridge was over quickly. The aliens were so busy arguing with each other that they barely noticed the humans until it was too late. Back on Earth, Admiral Jiwan received the news with satisfaction. Captain Daesung has captured an alien command ship, she announced to the war room. And he's taken prisoners from 3 different alien species. What about the rest of the alien fleet? Asked General Taehyun. Look for yourself, Jiwan said, pointing to the main tactical display. The display showed the alien fleet scattered across the solar system. But now the ships were separated not just by distance, but by species. The Vorthak ships were trying to regroup near Jupiter. The blue-skinned aliens' ships were heading toward Mars. The furry aliens' ships seemed to be moving away from both groups. The coalition is falling. Apart, observed Engineer Minho. Faster than we hoped, Jiwan agreed. Nari's virus made them distrust their own communication system. Now they're starting to distrust each other. Admiral, we're getting multiple transmissions from the alien fleet, reported the communications officer. Some of them want to surrender. Others want to negotiate. And some are asking for safe passage out of the solar system. Perfect, Jiwan said. Put me through to all alien ships. When the communication channel opened, Jiwan could see multiple alien faces on the screen. Fleet Admiral Vextar was there, looking angry and frustrated. But there were also aliens from other species, and they looked scared. This is Admiral Jiwan of Earth Defense, she said. It appears your coalition is having some problems. Temporary setbacks, Vextar snarled. We will regroup and crush your pathetic planet. But one of the blue-skinned aliens interrupted him. Admiral Jiwan, I am Commander Thex of the Kalari Defense Force. My ships wish to withdraw from this conflict. Coward. Vextar shouted at the blue alien. We are not cowards, Thex replied calmly. We are simply not stupid. Your intelligence about human capabilities was completely wrong. A furry alien joined the argument. Commander Thex is right. The humans are not primitive. Their tactics are more advanced than anything we have seen. Their tactics are chaos. Vextar protested. Yes, the furry alien said. And chaos is winning. Admiral Jiwan listened to the aliens argue among themselves. This was going even better than she had planned. Fleet Admiral Vextar, she said, interrupting the argument. Your coalition seems to be having disagreements. Perhaps this would be a good time to reconsider my offer. What offer? Demanded Vextar. Leave our solar system now and we'll let you go, Jiwan said simply. Stay and we'll show you what human luck looks like when we're really trying. Vexatar's 4 eyes burned with rage. But before he could respond, Commander Thex spoke up. Admiral Jiwan, the Kalari fleet accepts your terms. We will leave immediately. So do the Fernac ships, added the furry alien. On the tactical display, nearly half the alien fleet began moving toward the edge of the solar system. Vextar stared at the screen in disbelief as his coalition crumbled around him. Fleet Admiral Vextar stood alone on his flagship's bridge. Half of his coalition fleet had already left the solar system. The other half was asking permission to retreat. His perfect invasion had become a disaster, and he still did not understand how. Sir, said his remaining aide, perhaps we should consider strategic withdrawal. Never, Vextar roared. I will not be defeated by primitives. Sir, with respect, the humans may not be as primitive as we thought. Vextar turned his 4 eyes toward the tactical display. Only 3,000 ships remained of his original 12,000. Most of those were Vorthak vessels loyal to his command, but even his own ships were reporting problems. Equipment failures, navigation errors, and communication breakdowns had reduced his fleet's fighting ability by 60%. All Vorthak ships. This is Fleet Admiral Vextar, he announced over the communication system. We will attack the human homeworld directly. Full assault, maximum firepower. On Earth, Admiral Jiwan watched the remaining alien ships begin their final approach. All human forces, this is Admiral Jiwan, she announced. The aliens are coming for one last fight. Time to show them what we've really been preparing for. Commander Hayek looked up from his position on New Sol Station. Admiral, all defense platforms are ready. We have clear targeting solutions on all remaining alien ships. Pilot Yuna, are your squadrons in position? Jiwan asked. All fighter wings are ready, Admiral, came Yuna's reply. We're hidden inside the orbital defense grid. They'll never see us coming. Captain Daesung, how are our prisoners? Very talkative, Admiral. Daesung reported from the captured alien command ship. Turns out the different alien species have been planning to betray each other for months. The coalition was never as strong as it looked. Excellent. Nari, are you ready for the final phase? Specialist Nari cracked her knuckles over her keyboard. Admiral, I've been saving the best for last. When those alien ships get close enough, I'm going to give them a computer virus that will make their own weapons target their own ships. Outstanding. All units prepare for final battle. As the Vorthak fleet approached Earth, something strange began happening. The lead ship suddenly stopped moving forward. Their engines were running, but they seemed to be fighting against some invisible force. What's happening to our ships? Fextar demanded. Sir, they appear to be caught in some kind of gravitational field, his science officer reported. But our sensors show no gravitational sources in that area. Engineer Minho smiled as he watched his gravitational projectors work. For 5 years, human scientists had been placing these devices throughout the solar system, disguised as routine space operations. Now they created invisible walls of twisted gravity that could trap entire fleets. Admiral, the alien ships are stuck, Minho reported to Jiwon. They can move, but very slowly, like they're swimming through thick mud. Perfect. Begin the final attack. What happened next was the most one-sided battle in galactic history. Hidden weapons platforms that had been disguised as asteroids and space debris for years suddenly revealed themselves. Thousands of missile launchers, beam weapons, and kinetic cannons opened fire simultaneously. Human fighter squadrons emerged from concealed bases built inside hollowed-out asteroids. They attacked in coordinated waves, but each wave used completely different tactics from the orbital defense. Stations around Earth dropped their camouflage and began firing weapons that the aliens had never seen before. But the most devastating attack came from the aliens' own ships. Nari's computer virus spread through the Vorthak fleet's communication network, causing weapon systems to malfunction in spectacular ways. Alien ships began firing on each other, thinking they were targeting human vessels. This is impossible. Fextar screamed as he watched his fleet destroy itself. How can primitives have such advanced technology? Ambassador Sunho's voice came over the communication channel from Earth. Fleet Admiral Vextar, we tried to warn you. Humans don't rely on luck. We make our own luck through careful preparation. Preparation? Fextar asked, confused. 5 years of preparation, Sunho explained patiently. We've been expecting this invasion since we first detected alien activity in nearby star systems. Every asteroid mining operation, every space cleanup mission, every scientific research project, they were all part of our defense preparations. On the tactical display, the Vorthak fleet was falling apart. Ships that had survived the human weapons were breaking formation and trying to escape, but the gravitational projectors made retreat almost impossible. Your mistake? Admiral Jiwon's voice joined the conversation. Was thinking that organized tactics are always superior to chaos. But humans have learned how to organize chaos. What does that mean? Fextar demanded. It means we spent years studying how military coalitions like yours operate, Jiwon explained. We learned your strengths and weaknesses. Then we designed our entire defense strategy to exploit those weaknesses. Impossible. Our tactics have conquered 12 species. Yes, said Dr. Minji, joining the conversation from her research station. 12 species that all fought the same way you do. Organized formations, predictable strategies, logical tactics. But humans don't fight like that. How do humans fight? Fextar asked, though he was beginning to understand the answer. We fight dirty, said Captain Daesung from his captured alien ship. We cheat. We break the rules. We turn your own strengths against you. And we never, ever fight fair, added Pilot Yuna, as her fighters continued to harass the fleeing Vorthak ships. Fleet Admiral Vextar looked around his bridge. Half his officers were dead or wounded. His ship's weapons were offline, victims of Nari's virus. His fleet was scattered and retreating in panic. Admiral Jiwon, he said finally, I request terms for surrender. The terms are simple, Jiwon replied. Leave our solar system immediately. Tell every species in the galaxy what happened here. Make sure they understand that humans are not primitives to be conquered easily. And if other species ignore this warning? Vextar asked. Then they'll learn what we learned from you, Jiwon said. Every species that attacks humanity makes us stronger. You taught us how coalition fleets operate. The next attackers will teach us something else. We learn from our enemies and turn their knowledge against them. Vextar felt a chill run through his body. These humans were not just defending their world. They were preparing for future wars by learning from this one. "We will leave," he said quietly, "and we will deliver your message." As the surviving Vorthak ships limped toward the edge of the solar system, Ambassador Sunho began receiving communication requests from the alien species that had fled earlier. "Admiral, the Kalari and Fernak fleets want to establish diplomatic relations," he reported. "They're asking if they can set up trade agreements with Earth." "Tell them we're interested," Jiwon replied. "But make sure they understand the rules." "What rules?" Sunho asked. "Humans make friends with people who treat us fairly," Jiwon explained. "But we never forget enemies who try to conquer us. If they want to be our friends, they're welcome. If they want to be our enemies, they should bring better luck than the Vorthak did." Commander Hyuk watched the last alien ships disappear from his sensors. "Admiral, the solar system is clear. All enemy forces have withdrawn." "Excellent," Jiwon said. "All units stand down from battle alert. Begin recovery operations for any alien technology or survivors." "What do we do now?" asked General Taehyun. Admiral Jiwon looked at the strategic display showing their entire solar system. Hidden weapons platforms dotted every orbit. Disguised bases filled the asteroid belt. Secret shipyards were already building new vessels designed with lessons learned from this battle. "Now we get ready for the next war," she said simply, "because other species will come. And when they do, they'll find that human luck just keeps getting better." In space, the last Vorthak ship crossed the edge of the solar system. Fleet Admiral Vextar sent his final report back to the Vorthak Empire. "Do not attack the humans," his message said. "They are not primitive. They do not fight fairly. And their luck is not natural. It is artificial, carefully constructed, and absolutely deadly." The message would spread throughout the galaxy. Most species would heed the warning, but some would not, and that was exactly what the humans were counting on.